I'm pleased to introduce Chad Carlson, the class of 1990 in the Willmar Public Schools, who is also a Hall of Fame inductee for 2007-2008. Congratulations, Chad.
Thank you.
You know, it really is great to have you here, and so appreciative that you'll share your perspective a little bit about what this type of honor means to you. Ultimately, when it comes right down to it, you were busy all of the seasons of a school year involved with football, wrestling, and ultimately baseball. Tell us a little bit about what in your upbringing made you so driven to be a part of the athletic scene.
I guess the biggest thing was just being driven by both my mom and my dad. They're both hard workers, and when we set out to do something, I guess we always want to do our best and keep getting better and better at whatever we're doing. It doesn't matter if it's sports or work-related or what it is. I mean, we just want to do the best we can. And as far as athletics went, we just kept trying to get better all the time. And it didn't matter if it was playing at home with my brother or going to practices or whatever. We just focused on always trying to do the best we could. So.
Well, it's fun hearing about that quest for continuous improvement, which obviously has been a characteristic of your life for many, many years. How about football? What about the football program here in the Willmar Public Schools really stands out for you in your memory bank?
Oh, I don't know. It's a long time ago, so it's hard to remember all these things. But with football, just we had many, many good teams in the late 80s there and the early 90s. And a lot of my classmates and the classmates that were a couple years older than us, we had very good teams, and it just made it a lot of fun to play on those kind of teams where, I mean, most of the time it wasn't whether we were going to win, we were going to win. I mean, we didn't second guess ourselves. We had a lot of confidence on our teams and a lot of good guys that we played with. So.
Well, certainly the mindset of an athlete is very, very pivotal in determining the ultimate success. And I'm sure that same drive and determination stayed with you in the wrestling arena, where you certainly did very, very well. What got you interested in being a wrestler?
Oh, I guess with the wrestling part of it, my dad was pretty influential on that. He wrestled when he was in high school, and he would wrestle with us when we were at home, and we'd wrestle with the JC program when we were kids. Both my brother and I did that, and I kind of think we liked the individual part of the wrestling and how we could just kind of set our own goals and go as kind of as far as we wanted to with the wrestling. As you know, the harder we work, probably the more success we'd have. So I think that was the biggest thing with wrestling and why we stuck with it.
As I mentioned, you had a lot of accomplishments in wrestling. Does a favorite memory stand out, or something that happened during a wrestling match that you'll just take with you forever?
Oh, I don't know. There was a lot of memories, but probably winning the state championship my junior year was one of the best memories. So that's something I won't forget probably for a long time. But there were so many of them that can't name them all.
You know, I understand what you're saying when you talk about that state experience, when different teams from the Willmar schools have qualified for state competition, and being down there as a spectator, you just really realize what this ultimately means for teams or individuals. And I can see why that rings true with you as being quite an experience when you had that kind of success. How about in the world of baseball? Did you just always know you were going to play 3 sports, and that was the sport of choice for the spring season?
I guess with baseball, I started playing baseball when I was just in elementary school and enjoyed it a lot. And I was one of those kids that had to be doing something all the time. So I don't think it would have really mattered what sport I was in. Baseball was a sport that I enjoyed a lot. It was relaxing, and I considered track too, probably, but baseball was my sport, and I did a lot of wrestling in the spring, so it kind of worked out nice with the baseball season.
Well, then ultimately in 1990, you graduated from the Willmar Public Schools and went to join the Golden Gophers at the university. What prompted you to make that decision?
Well, it was not an easy decision by any means. There was quite a few schools that had offered me scholarships to wrestle at different schools, and I liked the idea of going to the U because of the wrestling coach there and the closeness to home, because it was important for me to get home. They also had a very good egg program there at the U, and that's what I ended up majoring in, was animal science with a dairy emphasis. So that was attractive to me for that reason.
Well, it's great to hear that you were analyzing a college or a university not only by the extracurriculars but also by the depth of programming that they offer. And clearly the U has a very, very strong agricultural program, which of course you're putting into use today. Why don't you share with our audience what life has brought your way now that you're beyond your college years?
I graduated from college in 1995 and came home to farm with my dad, who was at home farming still while my brother and I were in college. And since 95, I've been home on the farm. Currently, we're milking 600 cows right now, right west of Pennock, with my dad and my brother.
Well, I have a great deal of respect for people who are doing any aspect of farming, but I also know that dairy farming is a very, very demanding field. So I have a lot of admiration for you. You and your wife have 3 sons right now. When you think about, let's go back to the college experience. What's sort of one of the favorite stories that you like to tell your boys about wrestling for the University of Minnesota?
I guess the biggest thing would be the kind of how the university wrestling team has changed kind of since when I was there. I like to tell stories of that when I first was recruited to go to the U, that a lot of times the attendance would only be like 200-300 people at home matches, and it was kind of frustrating to go out and work as hard as we did and not have more people show up than that. But by the time I was a junior at the U, we were ranked number 1 in the country, and we sold out Williams Arena for a home duel against Iowa. So we had 13,000 people there, and this was only about 3 years after I first started there, when there was only 200-300 people. And I think it was fun to be part of that transition where we really turned the program around, and today they still are a national contender year in and year out. So it's fun to be part of that.
Absolutely, a fabulous reputation in a number of sporting areas, but certainly wrestling continues to be really strong. When you think about being on that wrestling mat, whether it's high school or college, is there any one experience that stands out in your mind where you thought, I'm not going to be able to win this match, and then something happened, something turned the tide, so it was just one of those unexpected wins?
Oh, I guess off the top of my head, I don't remember any specific matches, but I just know that a lot of times in the third period, that was kind of my period where a lot of times at the end of the matches I'd win just because I worked hard and was in good shape, and there was several times where I think other people maybe doubted whether I was going to win or not, but deep down inside I knew I would win. So many times in the third period I would come back. So.
Well, again, that determination and that self-confidence is such an important ingredient when it comes to success in athletics and in life in general. And I just can't thank you enough for sharing your perspective with us. Do you encourage your own children to think about being real active in the sporting arena?
Yes. My oldest son, he's involved in wrestling, and he's been doing that for a couple of years already, in football, and he's in soccer, and I don't think there'll be anything he won't try. He loves athletics. And my middle son, Caden, is starting with wrestling this year, and they're always kicking the ball around outside and playing catch and that stuff. So I think we'll be busy for a few years.
And of course, we're thrilled that you are a part of our Willmar Cardinal family yet today, and we'll look forward to more Carlsons being a part of the Willmar Cardinal legacy of excellence. So at any rate, again, congratulations, Chad. We're so happy to be honoring you in this way, and wish you well in the future.
Thank you for everything and for making me a part of the Hall of Fame.